back with another podcast. It is No Sugar, No Cream podcast, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tuesday, October. It is October 20. Is it 20? It's 22nd, ladies and gentlemen, and we are here on this Tuesday, here in Nashville, and enjoying the weather. It's beautiful out, and yeah, we're gonna get her started. Making sure everything goes well. Apologize for last week. I guess nobody even complained about it, but yeah, we the sound wasn't coming through our mics. It was coming from, I think it was, you had another mic over.
My mic that is connected to my
still
computer.
Being picked up, and you could hear it okay, but it wasn't good quality. And hopefully it's good quality now. We'll just check it here.
That was a setting because when you were on the cruise, I was using the mic there.
Yeah,
and I needed to make that setting change. But so
to start off with the exciting news I have to share. I don't know why there's a smile on my face, but probably Sunday or Monday, my vehicle was stolen. How exciting! Yeah, I got up today, or got up this afternoon, Monday, and look out, and I usually check it every day because I only use my vehicle probably 2 or 3 times a week, and I look out and see that my vehicle's in its spot. I'm like, that's weird. And I was like, oh goodness. Yeah, that is not cool at all. So I ended up calling the police later that evening, and they came by early this morning to file a report. And we were both asleep. It was like 7:45. So I went on, I called back up, and then this time they told me to file online, which was funny because last time I didn't have to file online. They just sent somebody out. But anyways, I made the request again. So this podcast might get interrupted by a police officer arresting me.
Not arresting you.
I have been watching too many cop shows, and I'm going to do the opposite of de-escalate, and I'm going to escalate the situation from I didn't do anything wrong and stolen to like I'm being taken away in handcuffs. I already pulled out some cash. Tim has it, and he's gonna bail me out. He's gonna leave me in jail. I gotta learn my lesson. So I'm one night overnight. It'll be fun. Should be interesting. Talk myself into jail. I probably couldn't do that to save my life. But yeah, it's gone. Don't know. My first thought was, okay, maybe the HOA, maybe some neighbor complained and got my vehicle moved, but it had literally been sitting there for a month while I was on the cruises, the 2 cruises, and there's never a note or nothing on it. And then I've been using it since I got back. I've been using it, but sure enough, it was not there Monday. And it could have been stolen Saturday or Sunday because I can't remember if I did look out, but I usually every day I look out and look at my vehicle. I'll look to see if it's out there, And
when did you go to the Preds game? You used to go
Thursday, so that's when I last drove it. I'll usually drive halfway and then Uber the rest of the way. Which that was a blast, I think. Oh yeah, I haven't talked about that. That was really cool. So, but anyways, everybody, please be praying that my vehicle is okay or whatever, or that I do. I'm not sure. I think I have full coverage. I'm not sure. I usually never have full coverage, but I think he just gave me full coverage, and because I remember having a conversation about it, they might have just gave me full coverage, but we'll see. The vehicle's only worth a few thousand. Probably. I mean, retail is probably worth still like 4 or 5 if once you go to the car lot and they do the recertified and then they tag on an extra $2,000 to have you pay top dollar. But I bought that vehicle during COVID. It's kind of funny when you couldn't buy a used car for less than $5,000. Back in the day, you could throw $1,000 and you could find a good.
Yeah, I don't know. COVID for some. Well, part of the reason was because I think the new cars there was a chip shortage, and I remember driving by on a highway, seeing acres of brand new cars parked, waiting for a particular chip to arrive. Remember that? That was a COVID era issue.
You think it was Dorito chips or?
think it was Lay's potato chips, because they promised that they would give that to every person that bought it. That bought one.
I refuse to take this vehicle unless I get my Lay's chips, son. I want my Lay's chips right now. Sour cream and yes, I said sour cream and onion. Please get some to me now, and I'll buy the vehicle.
So yeah, because there must have been a shortage of those. Maybe potato. Sure. Maybe there was a potato famine or something like there was back in Ireland back hundreds of years ago, because they didn't have the chip, and so maybe that might have been a reason why there was and new vehicles and used vehicles cost the same. Late model vehicles cost the same back then.
Wait a second. Do you think maybe it was a computer chip? I just got you off guard with that stupid joke. Oh, good times, guys. Well, man,
you are in such great mood for. I'm amazed. If I had my car stolen, I'd probably cancel the podcast. I would say I'm no mood to do a podcast. For one thing,
your vehicles are like 5 to 20 times more valuable than mine.
But one thing we did learn is somebody should just put a tagger, like a tag.
Yeah. You said that, and then also I was went and played poker last night, which I did pretty well. I'll mention that in here in a second. But and a retired officer that does traffic. He's like just a traffic officer now, but he retired from being a regular cop or whatever. He's got a more of a cushy job, but he said that you put like tags, and you can put like several in your vehicle, and and I kind of wish my iPad would have been good too, because like I was getting during the cruise, every time I was away, my cell phone was with me and I was away from my iPad, it would notify me, so I could always keep track of my iPad. But it'd have to be on Wi-Fi though with that, unless you have. I mean, like I used to have this one cellular. I've just been using it as a
how expensive. I mean, I'm going to research that, because if that's what's advised today and age, if that's what is advised in this day and age, we can do that. I don't think they're that expensive.
I think tags only like $20 or something.
Yeah,
to $40,
and right? If you got a valuable car, that would your car is gone immediately. You know where it is, because if you have a bunch of them, scattered throughout the vehicle, I don't know where you do some standard operating procedure of where to hide them.
Yeah.
There's probably a YouTube video how to do that properly, right? Mm-hmm. And so you get your tags and you scatter them throughout the vehicle, and then as soon as you notice it's gone, you check where it is. Mm-hmm. And people do that with their luggage now, and that can't be Wi-Fi, because there's been a lot of luggage when you're with the airlines I'm talking about, and your luggage gets lost, and so you can track where your bag is, and people are doing that pretty standard. Like, for example, if you check your guitar as a musician, and it's a valuable instrument, the best thing to do is to get a low quality instrument that you have to fly with. That's what my buddy taught me. He bought a setting over there, made in Canada. It's a bird flying. I can't remember. The insignia is a bird flying.
That's so funny.
Is yours
set on my coffee, and it's like right in the corner of your. Oh, you know what? I need to. No, keep talking. I'm going to just readjust your.
Make sure I look good, nephew.
Oh my gosh! Look at that guy. On a day over 42.
42?
Yeah, I guess that makes me
35.
I apologize. Wow. Wait, who's the uncle? Who's the nephew here? I definitely can't say my age now. But so yeah, yeah, that was definitely.
But I was younger than your mom.
Yes, you are younger than
by a large amount.
By a large, I guess a very large amount. Tim has the Benjamin Button disease.
Yeah. So anyway,
last night.
Well, hold that thought. But I mean, I'm planning on getting those tagged, and then. But how long do the batteries last? I mean, I want to research that.
A long time. I think
like a couple years or whatever. Or
they should have the technology be like the watch where they jiggle and it gets more energy.
There you go. Yeah, smart, right? Yeah, that'd be something. That'd be something.
Might have that. I think they last a time.
So getting tags on your vehicles, so if they get stolen, you immediately know where they are. Now, if they find the tags, they throw them out, obviously. But
you have several in there. I mean, my vehicle was pretty messy. I could have just thrown it in on the floor and they wouldn't even seen it. I was like, that's man. When I was Ubering, having people in my vehicle here lately, I've just been doing DoorDash and I haven't been doing that often. But when I was people in my vehicle, man, I had a monthly membership to a car wash. Probably went to the car wash at least 3 times a week, and they keep my vehicle so nice and clean. I was like, when you got people coming in your vehicle, man, you keep
same. I would be. That's exactly.
Clean.
I would be the same. Yeah. I mean, I hate it. I don't want anybody coming to my house. I mean, we had some rehearsals here. I had a outing in Nashville, or a gig in Nashville. And my band was coming over to practice, and we hadn't had a gig in a while, so they hadn't practiced. And the house was fairly, because my previous roommate, part of the arrangement, Ashley, shout out to Ashley. Hope she's moved to Georgia with her boyfriend. Part of our arrangement was she had reduced rent because she also cleaned the house. So since she moved out, the house really hadn't been cleaned, and it needed to be cleaned. And I wanted to clean before these people came over, and I could have done it myself, I guess, but we did hire somebody to come over the next day.
We don't like to clean, Tim. We don't clean.
So we had some come over in a 24-hour, within 20, they came the next day. Remember, you found them, you called them. It wasn't cheap, but she did a great job.
I mean, was it a horrible price, but it definitely
well, it was about double what I used to pay when I hired a cleaner. Anyway, she did barely speak English. I don't know what country she was from, but the woman who came, she did a great job, but she barely spoke English. So yeah, if somebody's coming over, I want it to look great, obviously, like a lot of people are.
Did you find a cleaning lady?
Not yet. That's on my list of things to do. But now it's
Did you clean the place right before I came home? I was like, I could notice a difference. I was wondering if you had hired somebody.
No, just well, thank you.
Whoever you
hired, I just swept a little bit
right away. Oh my gosh, I saw the most hilarious TikTok where the mother's following the daughter to go see that she's cleaned her room, and they head down the hallway, and there's this gigantic pile of toys in the hallway, and they go in the bedroom, and she's already laughing, but she looks at the rooms completely
but all the toys
are in the hallway. And she's like, all right now, honey, need you to clean the hallway. And she's like, no, I don't want to mess up my room. Oh man.
So you were going to go poker,
yeah,
and then we're going to talk about t-shirts. What the t-shirt you're wearing, the t-shirt I'm wearing.
Yes,
but not now. But now talk about poker.
So yeah, when played my second time playing poker, there's the guy that runs this poker thing on at a couple different locations, a few different locations, 5 times a week. He's looking for a business. So if he find a business that can utilize, can have a couple 2 to 4 tables for people to play poker, he needs a business like 2 days a week, like Wednesday and another day. Whatever. Anyways, went there Friday. I did okay, but I think. I did. I think I had the crappiest hands, and then I did horrible Friday, and but yesterday I did pretty good. And
how did you get there? Your car was stolen. How did you get there?
I just Ubered. there. Okay. And then
I knew that, but I just wondered for your. I mean, people watching might wonder how you got there.
I just jumped on your back, Tim, and Tim's bulky guy. Oh man, if I got on your back, I would cry for you. I ended up getting second place. Well, we ended up just splitting the money because he didn't want to play any longer.
And it's not actual. So it's not actual gambling, right? It's just like a game, and you win the prize.
It's free. It's free to play.
But I mean, so you don't win the pot. Right, it's so they probably get around whatever rules.
First, second, and third place, and then also fourth place.
But I mean, you don't literally you put a. It's not like an actual
cost to enter, and
you get a preset of
depending
chips.
on how many people we split $60. We each
so it's more. What I'm trying to say is, help me out here. It's not a normal poker where you're actually gambling. It's more like a game where you're trying to win first place in the game, and then you win like a $10 prize,
just like a normal poker game, except you don't have to pay money to buy in because it's not legal in Nashville. I think
that's what I'm trying. Thank you. I'm trying to get to. They're getting around the rules of actual poker, an actual poker tournament where you could lose. So you can't lose money. You don't even have to pay anything to get in. Well, you get the first round, you're in free, and then if you go belly up, if you lose all your money, you have to pay to get in, right?
They have a thing where you can rebuy back with $5.
$5. So it's not you're not gonna
you don't have to do that. That's just like a little chip thing they have.
If you go belly up and lose your pot, you could buy in for $5 3 times, right? You said,
and you have to do that before that's made it so far. And I never rebought or nothing. I was in there till the end.
So it's more like it's not actual.
I could use, at one point you could use chips. You could buy 25,000 more chips with a chip. And I forgot my chips. I had 2 at the house here, but this guy, the police officer, retired police officer, me and him were talking about movies and stuff, and he just gave me a chip that he had, and that helped me still stay up because everybody was buying that for $5. So basically I did spend $5, but that was just to give you more chips. So everybody else is kind of doing it. That helped me stay closer.
I mean,
chip out. I didn't have to do that.
So that's not a real. I mean, it's technically, those who are purists, it's not an actual poker game. It's just a game night. It's a game night, and the game, instead of being bingo or trivia, it happens to be poker. Versus,
you can qualify though with them. You can qualify if you win. I forget, like you have to win so much or whatever, or have so many points. You can qualify, and what would usually cost you $400 entry, you can get like a free entry to a big. I think it's in Palm Springs, and there's a $100,000 you can win. And it usually costs $400, which that's not a bad price to enter $100,000. That's like it's like a normal, like a big tournament thing. And $400 isn't bad for like entertainment. For like, I mean, goodness, I'll spend that on a cruise,
Versus,
and that's like 3 days of entertainment if you don't bust right away.
Yeah. Well, versus a friend of mine who I won't mention because I don't think what he does is illegal, but I'm not sure. But he plays poker. And he lives with his friend, and they have a poker night at their house. And his friend is basically kind of an odd job guy, but he supplements his wages by playing poker. And so does my friend, but not as much as his roommate who's renting from him. He owns the house and he plays in other places, and he makes on average $2,000 a month just from playing poker. He's a really good poker player, and people come there and lose money. And my friend will call me and tell me, "Yeah, I lost $300 last night," or I lost. I mean, one week he lost, I think, $1,200 because these are relatively big pot deals because somebody bet they had a really low probability bet, but it's not zero. You see, so you're saying there's a chance kind of thing. And he got it even because he was an idiot. He went all in at a low probability and he won. And my friend lost if the odds had been normal, he would have won that pot, but he lost it because the guy got him, I guess on the river, maybe the last card, he got something. So, so he lost money and he was kind of complaining about that. But in general, so there are people who literally supplement their income by playing poker.
Yeah, a lot of the pros that they'll travel around quite a bit, so they'll get to hit up places that don't even.
No, that's a pro. This guy's not a pro. He's just a guy who's really good at poker. I mean, I guess you would say he's a pro. I guess he is a pro, but he's not
playing on the circuit.
Right. Whether that's legal or not in South Dakota. I mean, I don't know if that's.
I would love to back. Well, there's way if you have a private company and you like a private club, that's something they did in Texas. It was a private club that we joined, and there was just a monthly membership or whatever. And then we played a poker within that club. There's some little ways to get around and stuff. And maybe you can't do that in every state, but this is like you're playing for free. So there's no issue there. And that was something Northwest Arkansas. There was there was a place just around the corner from mine before they remodeled the place or whatever. It was $40 to the winner, and there was usually at least 2 or 3 tables, I think, playing poker. So it was fun. I did pretty well last night, and it didn't have any crazy good hands. I just played.
So you were second out of how many guys played?
I think 15 to 20.
Woo!
15 to 20.
You killed it, man.
Yeah.
Good for you.
2 tables, 10 at most at a table, and then both tables were pretty full. Or both tables were about full. So yeah, that had to have been like 17, 18 people. So yeah, but it was fun. And, you meet some people well too. And that was my big issue in Northwest Arkansas, was just like a lot of my friends had moved away and stuff. But here, I got you, and then, well, you're in about pretty close to as much into poker as I am. And then chess, I'm like big time into chess, and you've been kicking my butt. Only way I can beat your butt is if, with the whole time thing.
I've never played with the time.
We just got to play that more.
And actually, a friend of mine was telling me that they now have blitz tournaments, and they even have a blitz grand champion. Blitz where it's really fast, and because it's like anything, attention spans are so short. It's like baseball. We were talking about this the other day. Baseball is a sport that neither of us really follow, and I guess the World Series coming up. I think it's. I think the Yankees are in it. I don't even know who the other team is in it. Have they decided the other team?
I'll watch a little bit of that if I'm
a little bit. Baseball is America's pastime. America's pastime kind of thing. It's an outing to a game. Opener, but they don't even have open air games anymore. But when I lived in Boston, I used to go Fenway Park. It was an event.
You don't have open air games. What do you mean?
Aren't they all in closed stadiums? I don't know.
No, baseball definitely not. I think rarely do you have.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. They're all.
Fenway Park is iconic, and that's still, it's the thing.
I think the majority of them are open air.
Well, I would hope so.
Football and stuff, of course, isn't.
I'm so far behind sports that aren't NBA.
I got a whole new thing now.
I didn't even know that the Cleveland Indians changed their name. They're now the, what are they? The Guardians?
Not so Indian. Are we pretending like the Indians don't exist anymore or something like
the Guardians? They changed their name to the Guardians. What is that?
What do I play now? Cowboys and Guardians? I'm not allowed to play Cowboys and Indians anymore? I'm going to tell you, we used to always fight over who wants to be the Indians. Now nobody's fighting over who wants to be the Guardian. Guardian of the Galaxy? No, just the Guardians. What does that mean? I have no idea.
And then, of course, Washington, they changed their name from the Redskins to the Commanders.
What the crap is that?
What is a commander?
Good question.
We still got the Chiefs, though. Kansas City, they're not changing. The Chiefs,
Vikings. We can still pillage and rape. Go Vikings.
The Fighting Irish.
Lord, if somebody's named
you got the Fighting Irish.
Redskins. What they literally designed the first. An Indian designed the first one. They took away what we can't have the maple syrup. It was used to be the black lady on the front. They changed that. They're just whitewashing everything. It's like trying to protect black people, but literally getting where they're represented, taking away where they're represented. It makes no sense to me. But anyways, it's annoying. I hate even thinking about it. It hurts my brain.
Well, they should have, the crackers and derogatory terms for white people.
Derogatory for white people.
The crackers.
Oh, okay.
Would you be
sponsored by maple syrup?
Would you?
Thanks for not sponsored. I want to apologize to all the white people out there. They like to eat crackers. No human was harmed in the making of this podcast. So, Guess what tonight is? I mean, I'll try to get you to go that tournament, or I try to get you to go to the poker game tonight, but
last night. There's a poker tonight?
Yeah, there's tonight one too, yeah.
No, I'm not. I know it's the NBA season opens. I mean,
and it's the Celtics.
Yeah, the Celtics are playing the Knicks, and the NBA is open. I don't follow sports. I don't follow college sports. I don't follow professional sports except
he saves all his energy and yelling for Celtics. If you don't yell a couple times tonight, the game never happened, and you're not feeling well or something.
Yeah, so the Celtics are hoping, and I read articles. Almost everyone is the experts, the general managers are calling the Celtics to repeat as champions. Now, there's a lot of Celtics haters out there, and maybe there will be some watching this podcast. I'm sorry for you, but when they won the last championship, there were people that saying, well, they didn't have to beat anyone who was any good. And people were calling Dallas to thank you for blocking my camera. Nobody can see me now. It's just a big black back. Yeah, but all you could see was your back because
they can still hear you. They can still hear you.
So anyway, that's exciting. And the Knicks, pretty tough. They got Karl Anthony Towns from Minnesota. And they also got, who else did they get? They got a guy from the Nets, a really good defensive guy. And his name is escaping me right now. They traded away Randall, which I'm happy because Randall was a bruiser. Julius Randle. I always hated when the Celtics played him because he seemed to have our number. He was trash talker and just a tough guy down low. And he was the guy they traded to get Towns. Towns is arguably, some say, the best big man for shooting threes ever. There's some stats that say that. So he can go out behind the three-point line and shoot them and get them. So anyway, it'll be a test tonight. I mean, the Knicks are coming after the Celtics. Let's see if there's sound. Is the sound working, sir?
Yeah, you just keep talking.
Keep talking. Hello, hello, hello. Yes.
Yeah,
so,
you're good.
Okay, I'm glad that because we've had technical difficulties and we're still, this is podcast number 16. I hope I numbered that correctly. And I believe we're on 16. And, we're just babies in this right now. I mean, I listen to podcasts where they're going episode 237. I mean, how do you get that many podcasts doing them once a week? That's a lot of weeks. That's 5 years of doing podcasts every week. And we just got started. So we'll hopefully get there. But anyway, so that's tonight. We're going to watch the Celtics and excited about that.
Lakers game tonight too, which I guess I just found out I'm not allowed to watch in the house. Not sure what's going on there, but maybe some resentment, hatred. Would you like to elaborate, Tim?
If you're a Celtics fan, you have a built-in hatred for the Lakers. Hatred is a strong word. I don't like to use hatred. Dislike for the Lakers. It's been a rivalry. And until the Celtics won last year, according to the Lakers, they were tied with us for the most championships ever, 17 each. But, you want to unplug that because I can hear it coming through the headphones.
I'll turn the volume down.
Okay, thank you. I mean, half of those came when it was the Minnesota Lakers. That's why it's called the Lakers. Because Minnesota is a land of 10,000 lakes.
And how does that
and it was the Minnesota. I think they should only count the ones they won when they were in Los Angeles.
Ooh, shots fired by Celtics fan Tim Wolf. What will happen next? There's somebody typing on Reddit right now. I do not approve of what Tim Wolf said on podcast 116 of No Sugar, No Cream. Send. From my mother's basement. Nothing wrong with that.
All right, so we're doing that. And let's talk about our T-shirts.
Yes.
So my T-shirt.
Yes.
And I wish I did reverse it. It's backwards. And we got to figure out a way so that it's not backwards so we can read it. We'd both be in the opposite sides. And I did have my camera reversed, but I looked like I wasn't facing Seth because his is not backwards. But this says Carpenter. Carpenter, South Dakota, established 1894. So it's the 130th anniversary.
Yes, sir.
Of the little town, tiny little town where I grew up. I mean,
technically you're
out 7 miles.
But it's like, it's 7 miles away.
The farm that I grew up in is 7 miles from Carpenter. And Carpenter, I mean, if you blink, you'd miss it. If you're driving by on the highway, at highway speeds, you would miss it. Because all that's left there. Well, they built it up actually. They have a convenience store there. Shout out to Fawn, who has been keeping the convenience store going. And they do have a really big input plant for farmers. They got fertilizer and chemicals there. A big plant. Wheat growers built a big plant, and actually other surrounding towns were mad that they put it in Carpenter. But Carpenter's pretty centrally located. There's not any bigger towns a long ways away, so it was a good place. And they still have a post office, based on what I believe they still have a post office. And
have they built more houses or anything? Like,
I haven't been there in a while, but a population of maybe 12 people. But you have all the surrounding farmers in the city, 12? In the town of Carpenter. I'm going to say maybe 12.
Wow,
less than 20 for sure.
A lot more than that. That's funny.
No, it's small. I could be wrong, but less than 20. I would be sure less than 20. Huh. So Carpenter, South Dakota. We punch above our weight. We contribute a lot. We went to Willow Lake School, and all the best athletes.
Well, that's where you used to have your business, was Willow Lake.
Willow Lake, yeah. I went to Willow Lake High School, but Carpenter always punched above our weight when it came to athletics. The best athletes came from Carpenter.
Corn-fed, baby. Corn-fed. Get out there pushing the other team around. Yeah.
So shout out to Carpenter. My hometown. Love you.
Yeah, I was watching a football game because we were talking about how in their division, North Dakota and South Dakota colleges
big rivalry.
Are their big rivalry, and then they're number 1 and number 2 right now.
Well, North Dakota, I mean, again, not following that much, and I didn't go to either of those universities. They're both Division I's now. I went to South Dakota School of Mines and Technology. Mines, so you had to have at least 140 IQ to get in. You had to be a genius IQ. South Dakota School of Mines.
I'm gonna have to see that in writing. Ladies and gentlemen.
No, it's MINES. Mineral Industries.
Welcome for Jokes with Tim. Jokes with Tim. This is the part of the show where Tim tells a little joke. Tim just told that joke. And now it's joke.
That was a joke. Thank you for clarifying that was a joke.
That was a joke.
Yeah. So my school is much more technical oriented, and not far away from, only 2,000 people, not big enough to be division. 2,000 students, I think, big to be Division I. North Dakota.
There was a player that was playing professionally that had been from North Dakota or South Dakota. So just maybe.
Yeah, so South Dakota. Yeah. In fact, in the NBA, I think South Dakota drafted a guy that was from South Dakota a few years ago. He was like second round. He was a second round pick. I don't think he ended up staying. I think I don't even know if he's still in the NBA. I don't remember his name. But there are people living in South Dakota, even though it's not many. The entire state is growing. People are moving there. The population is 900,000 and some, and it's grown immensely. When I lived there, I think it was around 700. So people are moving there, but it's still, any medium-sized city in the U.S. has more population than the entire state of South Dakota. South Dakota is a big state, so it's pretty sparsely populated.
Just the population alone for this, if you include the surrounding area for Nashville, is like close to 700,000, isn't it?
Well, if the metropolitan area is, I think, almost 2 million.
Oh my!
1.8 million. I believe.
Say what, like, if they're still saying claiming that 100 people a day are moving to Nashville.
They are saying that. Yeah,
I heard that even recently.
So South Dakota, I mean, people are moving there because, especially conservatives, because Kristi Noem was the governor, and she was a rising star in the Republican Party. But recently, after she wrote her book saying that she shot her pup because is belligerent. You remember that controversy?
I think I missed that.
You did? Oh my gosh, yeah. I knew Christy. I mean, I've been in her home. I used to be good friends with her husband. Brian, I used to spend time with them, and he used to invite me over for games and stuff. And great guy, both of them great people. But it's so hard. I mean, you make one false step as perceived as a false step, and she wrote the book. She was hoping to be considered, I think, as a running mate for Trump's running mate, and she was in the running. Usually you try to pick a running mate that can help you carry a state that you can't carry otherwise. And in South Dakota's always been red, and it's only 3 votes. So you're not really, that's a problem right there. You have to be really strong, but it didn't hurt Sarah Palin. She's from Alaska and she got picked. And I don't think Alaska is any big, it always goes red. Anyway, I'm riffing now, but so Christy published a book. And in the book, she recounted where she had a puppy that was acting up and attacking the animals. I'm not sure which. And she took him out to the gravel pit and shot the dog. For anyone who grew up in the farm like I did, I mean, okay, life and death. I mean, animals live and die. But that, for non-people who grew up on a farm, that was a bridge too far. And there was a huge uproar against that. And I think it pretty much ruined her national political chances going forward.
Would have been better if she had an abortion.
Aborted the dog, I guess. Yeah.
Aborted the dog.
So anyway, yeah. But so I know. How did I get on that subject? Oh, yeah. So she's the governor, and so South Dakota was for a while considered a high profile place, red state, and no income tax. The winters are kind of brutal, but pretty good economy. I mean, actually pretty healthy for if you want to start a new business. Low
cost
regulations. Cost of living's very low. Low. And so
cost of living, all your property, your water, your everything's so much cheaper.
Yeah. Your houses,
food's cheaper, I'd say.
Sure, I would say so. Yeah. South Dakota has a lot going for it, but it doesn't have a lot going on if that's what you're looking for. So,
but if you like a rural area, if you like having no neighbors,
yeah,
for one thing, I mean,
where I grew up, our nearest neighbor was, like a mile away, our nearest neighbor.
Oh my gosh. I had so much fun. We made our own fun on the farm. I mean,
we did.
We had the 4-wheeler we played with quite a bit. And I mean, well, that's something that you didn't even grow up with. What was a 4-wheeler, but Grandpa ended up getting that later on. Just to get all the hay barrels. Oh my gosh, we had this nice elaborate. I remember in the front yard specifically having these hay barrels where there were probably at least 8 high, and it was just perfectly positioned where you could like slide down between them and land in hay. And we probably dropped at least 10 plus feet. Of course, this is when I was a kid, so it might have just been 5 feet. I don't know. Everything, your perspective is so much different, but just jumping from hay barrel to hay barrel. And we made our own little fort out in the trees and everything. Had a blast.
When I was a kid, we didn't have the equipment that could move those. We had to move those by hand. We had to stack those by hand.
Not the big ones. Ladies and gentlemen, that was another joke with Tim Wolf. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed yet a second joke with Tim Wolf.
Thank you for being my joke explainer. Yeah, so back then the little bales you can handle by hand. They probably, if it's straw, they probably weigh 50, 60 pounds. If they're alfalfa hay, they probably weigh 70 pounds maybe. And we would stack them. You had to stack them manually. And then they went to where they made them really big, where one bale weighed close to a ton, round, and 2,000 pounds.
Jinx, poke, pink, you owe me a Coke.
You did not know how many pounds in a ton?
No, I said it when we said it at the exact same time.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, we said 2,000.
Kudos. So tell me about your T-shirt. I'm especially interested because it looks like cassette tapes.
Well, at the bottom it says
nostalgia.
So you got the cassette tape, tape player, or video.
Oh,
player,
VCR,
VCR,
or VHS, VHS.
Floppy disk that where it's a hard disk, but the floppy.
I see it. Yeah, that's a 3.5, like a 3.5 floppy disk. Yeah.
Which is funny because it wasn't floppy. The case is hard, but then there also was those older ones that were bigger, and those were completely floppy. Remember?
They
those?
Were. Yes, they were. Yeah.
And they were bigger. They're a lot bigger, but yeah, super nostalgia. It's funny too. You can go on eBay now and look. There's a lot of VHS stuff that's worth money. In fact, a lot of the movies that they never say they never put them on Netflix or anything like that. There's lots of old movies that are practically only available on VHS unless somebody takes it and videotapes it and puts on it. But just having there's certain movies that are worth big money. I should come up with a list here. That'd be kind of neat. But yeah, and then the cassette back in the day, rocking the cassette. You got the Walkmans, you sporting your music, and you had to rewind the whole thing. Or no, you flipped it over and then listen to the other side. And then you could just flip it back and forth. But if you had your favorite song, you'd have to, and then you'd wear it out so much that you couldn't even
Okay, so cassette tapes.
Mm-hmm.
I read an article today. For those of you who are new to this, I'm an artist, singer-songwriter artist, and my artist name is Tim Wolf. And you can find me on streaming. So you can follow me on social media platforms, and stream me on Spotify, because I'm just at the door of getting to 50,000 monthly listeners. I'm at 49,000 some, and I would like to get to 50.
Awesome.
So help me out by streaming my songs. I got a song coming out called New York City. It'll be coming out on Friday, so check that out. But I have CDs. I have three CDs out, and I've got another one that'll be coming out probably in the spring. Be my fourth album coming out, and 3 CDs, and one of those is also available on vinyl. So I have vinyl and CDs, and I got an article today or yesterday, I think it came, and they were talking about cassette tapes. Cassette tapes as a quiet resurgence. Vinyl has resurged. Vinyl for a while was growing like 50% a year. Last year grew about 6% a year. So it's slowing down, but it's still, and it's selling more copies of vinyl per year than CDs. A third method is cassette tapes. Cassette tapes, it is a thing. There are artists that are selling. My coach, my advisor, who's also an artist, Basic Printer, he has cassette tapes that he offers, his albums on cassette tape. And so it's an option. So I have 3 albums out. Hold up 4 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 3. Have 3 albums out, and only one of them's on vinyl. And I've thought about adding that, but vinyl has been a slow seller for me. So, but adding a third, I mean, anybody listening to this, whether you're a fan of my music or not, would you comment? Would you listen to music on a cassette? Would you buy a cassette?
I prefer V8 or V8. What is it called? 8-track. 8-track. If I could get an 8-track, would be. I would love an 8-track. There's a good man. Anybody under my age or anybody my age. Only reason I know that is because Grandpa and Grandma still had one as I was a kid. They had like a 8-track player that was built into their whole. They had a big setup or whatever in the living room.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
but yeah, 8-track had a short life. But those
really short life. Yeah,
you skip ahead like a CD to the different songs on those.
I never had an 8-track. When it was time to get a player in my car, when I got a car and I was a teenager and I was going to listen to music, I just decided I'm not messing with this 8-track. I knew the cassettes was something that was there, and I made the decision to skip. I was one of the very few. I was a leader at the time. Everybody else had 8-tracks in their car. And I said, I'm not messing with that. I'm going to jump. I don't know why. Did I read an article or something? And there wasn't internet. But I made the decision to go to cassettes. And eventually, 8-tracks went away and everybody went to cassettes. And then, of course, about 10 years later, CDs came along and everybody went to CDs. But I never indulged in 8-tracks, and they didn't last that long.
Yeah, it was a short time, right?
I think people went to cassettes instead, and I just skipped the 8-track. I mean, a lot of my peers had 8-tracks then, but I just went straight to the.
Yeah, I'm sure what the technology even was. That would be something.
Well, I think it was an endless loop thing. I think it was an endless loop. I think it would go continuously. But I think they would break down. I remember seeing 8-tracks with tapes hanging out of them. I think they would break down easily. The technology wasn't that robust, I think. All
right, here's some of the movies on VHS that are worth money. I think these are graded, which makes them
because I think I still have some bunch of VHS. I wonder if I threw that box away. Your brother encouraged me to throw away, so I started throwing away a bunch of stuff. But I may still have some.
Ooh, we should look. Rocky is worth some money. Like we're over 20-some thousand.
What?
Yeah. Okay, this might be an unopened one, but still having probably Rocky. I mean, if you have it unopened and then you get it graded, that's definitely Terminator.
I think I threw them all away. Just for the last, I moved here 7 years ago, and I had a bunch of boxes.
The Thing. See, there's a chance you have some of these movies. They're a popular one. Goonies, 50 goes for 50,000. This one's graded probably.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
$50,000 for a tape?
2002 sold for 50,000, but it was sealed. It was a sealed one, factory sealed. So, but yeah, if you happen, which that would be something me and you would do. We would buy one and never open it. Just like I'll buy something, leave in the box forever. Star Wars: A New Hope. Of course, they completely edited and changed the original to where Hans doesn't shoot first. So that's what makes that one so crazy.
Hold on a second. Back up here. That's right. I think I remember this controversy. Flesh me out. So when he's in
the cantina,
mm-hmm. And
he's talking to the other I forget his name, but he's talking to that weird looking alien.
And they changed that alien also, didn't they?
They just made it look like they made it look like he shoots first. They changed it. They changed it to where the alien shoots first, but in the original, Hans shoots first. In fact, you'll see a lot of shirts that say Hans shot first because everybody knows the original. Because that just changed his character in a way. Like, he's the kind of person that would shoot first if he felt threatened or felt like that had been done wrong.
He was a scoundrel. Yeah, he was not supposed to be a protagonist, right? He was not supposed to be loved as like he was. He was like
I mean, because you still love him, but
he was not a star.
You don't want his character to change, or I think it doesn't take away from how much you like him, but that's a big deal if somebody shoots at you first and then you shoot back rather than you shooting first.
It is, but also
you still like him just as much.
When that came out in 1978, okay, and the era was
77, right? Or no, 79 was it?
77. No, hold on a second. Summer of 77. You're right. 77. Yeah. Is that right? 77. Yeah, it would have been 77. Summer of 77. And at that point in time, the difference between there was no gradations of good guys and bad guys. That was still the era. It was still an era from the old westerns when the good guys wore white hats 77. And the bad guys wore black hats. It was your heroes were absolutely heroic. And your bad guys were just bad. Mm-hmm. And there was no mix. And I remember when Unforgiven came out, Clint Eastwood movie in the early 90s. It's a heck of a thing, killing a man. From Unforgiven, Clint Eastwood. And it was the first time that the hero was a flawed hero in the Westerns. I remember reading articles about it. That was in the early 91. When did Unforgiven come out? I think 1991, I'm going to say. And so, that was the era when, your good guys had to be beyond reproach. That's why they whitewashed that.
Why does it say 92? Is that right?
I said early 90s, 91, 92.
Okay.
Yeah. What did you think I said?
No, I was thinking you said something older. I didn't hear what you said.
No, I said early 90s. I might have said 91, but yeah, I knew it was early 90s.
I guess I need to watch this movie.
Phenomenal movie. It's a. I use another word, but it's a. He says it's a hell of a thing.
On a budget of
killing them
14.4 million. More than 10 times the money, and I'm guessing that was just in the U.S. too.
That was Clint Eastwood, and Clint Eastwood,
Hackman,
and Gene Hackman.
Freaking love Gene. Oh, you know my favorite Gene Hackman movie with him and Will Smith and Enemy of the State. Oh my gosh, I'm surprised they haven't redone that or like added on to that. Oh, I love it.
Which one?
Enemy of the State. Is that Gene Hackman in that?
Which one?
Enemy of the State.
Ending of the State.
Enemy of the State. Have you ever seen that movie?
It sounds familiar.
It's with Will Smith, and this guy slips a card or a memory card into his bag, and he becomes hunted by the FBI, and they like release all this technology on him that is well known to all be available today, and that kind of gave you a look into that world too. And that was late 90s, early 2000s, I think. And they were just trying to hunt him down to get that memory card because there was a murder on it. It showed somebody being murdered on this video. And they're just hunting Will Smith's character. The guy had slipped it into it, and then he gets hit by a car running from him. So they're searching for this guy, and he ends up hooking up with Gene Hackman's character, who had worked for the government and stuff, and I forget how they end up interacting, but he's just running from the FBI the whole time, and the people that are searching for him, it's crazy too. So you got Seth Green in it that are playing like computer guys, Seth Green and what's his name, the big guy, Seth Green, and then Jack
Nicholson? No,
the comedy guy,
different era. Jack. Yeah, I know Jack Black.
Jack Black,
not to be confused with Jack White. Not serious. He got Jack White, Jack Black.
Yeah, plays a serious role in this one where he's also a computer person, and the two of them are helping search for this guy, and they don't even know that the people that they're working for are crooked and using them to hunt somebody down to cover up what they did, a murder of somebody.
I just realized there's a Jack White and a Jack
Black. Really good movie. Oh yeah. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, hey, movie night. Anybody that hasn't seen that movie, Will Smith and Gene Hackman, Enemy of the State, very excellent movie. And that is
you know who Jack White is, right?
Jack White is
White Stripes, Seven Nation Army.
I was about to say
your band. Jack White, White Stripes. That song, Seven Nation Army, is a song he wrote. I mean, college bands are playing it now. It's just became part of the fabric of the pop culture.
Oh yeah,
the White Stripes.
Jerry Bruckheimer did that movie.
Oh yeah, Jerry Bruckheimer.
1998 it came out.
Enemy of the State. It sounds so familiar. I don't know if I have seen it. We recently watched together Wolf, didn't we?
Yes, that was. If anybody have Apple Plus, you have to check that out. I give it like a B-, I guess. We really liked it, but like
Brad Pitt and George Clooney.
Yeah, I mean, what was our issue with that movie?
Well, after I rewatched the ending, I like it better than I.
Yeah.
The beginning was amazing. The middle third I thought was
slows down.
Yeah.
I
was like, got a little formulaic, I thought, and it's a little bit mixed. What's happening here?
Give a quick trailer of it. What is it about?
Okay, yeah. So this woman who's a big district attorney has a dead young man in her hotel room. Mm-hmm. And she's staying in this hotel room that is a $10,000 a night hotel, and it's in New York City. I believe it was New York City where it was set. And she panics, and someone had given her the name of a person, if you're ever in trouble, a cleaner
or a fixer, I guess.
A fixer, cleaner, yeah. Mm-hmm. And she calls the number, and it rings this number has been changed, but as soon as it calls back, he had it fixed where we give an outgoing message, and it's George Clooney, and he says, "How'd you get this number?" And he's very suspicious, and he shows up, and then, and you could, this is not a spoiler because you can tell all this from the trailers, and then next thing you know, somebody in the key slot hits the key and walks in, and it's Brad Pitt, and both of them have the blue gloves on, and they're both fixers.
Mm-hmm.
And the person who called him was the hotel owner, and she has a camera in the room, which is completely illegal. But so she saw what happened, and that's the start of it. And they both
end up having to work together.
And actually become begrudgingly. They're a wolf. They're supposed to be lone wolves. They're not supposed to have any contacts, but they actually start liking each other because they do so much alike. They're like the same person. And
would you say basically a dark? Would you call that a dark comedy?
Dark comedy, yeah, dark comedy.
Enjoyable. The two of them are good. They've done more than 2 movies together.
It's not as edgy. I mean, well, they did all the Oceans 11, 12, and 13. I mean, 11 was great, but then it's just the same thing. You just get the money. 12 and 13, just get the money. You know,
were they in another movie together? I feel like maybe they were possibly in something else together too.
Why don't you Google that? Yeah,
but it's about that time, I guess, if we're going to wrap it up, though.
Was there anything else we wanted to cover and get covered in this?
Vehicle stolen. Did good at poker. Love our T-shirts. Tim tells a couple of jokes. I recommend a movie, Enemy of the State. What a bada bang! Thank you, ma'am. That's a podcast right there. And you make sure you watch that movie and tune in next Tuesday. We'll be right here.
Next Tuesday, 5:00. Sorry we started a little late. But if we don't get started at 5, you don't apologize.
Watch it. You can watch it and rewind it as much as you want. You'll be all right. Goodness gracious.
Oh,
hey,
I forgot. One thing, I know there's something I wanted to announce.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Wolf with an announcement.
So Tim? I think I'm okay. I didn't sign any confidentiality agreement, so I think I can announce this. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to a studio in Nashville. And I'm working with a pretty big name Nashville producer, Dean Miller.
Oh,
I can't say.
No. I was gonna say you shouldn't say it till next Tuesday, and then you can say how it went or whatever. So,
his dad was Roger Miller, who wrote "Trailer for Sailorette, Rooms to Rent 50 cents." You know that? That's a King of the Road.
I guess it out.
It's an old country hit. Anyway, and Dean has worked with all the big names. You go to his website. He's worked with all the big stars, and he's working with the winner of The Voice. I guess he must have a contract. I don't know the details, but if you win The Voice, he's the one producing the winner. I mean, he showed it on his Facebook, so he's a big producer, and we're doing 2 songs, and so I'm pretty excited. That's tomorrow. Cool. We'll see how it goes. And we had a video call today. Seems like the nicest guy, coolest guy. He was like 5 minutes late. Apologized for being late. Doesn't have an ego, from what I can see. So
and you're like, really looking yourself together. You're a professional.
So he reached out to me. I guess you get a lot of. You keep putting stuff out, posting stuff every day. And I'm like, man, is anybody seeing this? Is anyone ever going to call me, reach out to me? Because one call can make a big difference. Oliver Anthony went from recording videos in the backyard to, doing 12, 15,000, 20,000 events, millions of followers. Richmond, North of Richmond.
Yes, sir.
His big thing was got posted on Joe Rogan. So Joe Rogan takes a liking to you. I don't think Joe Rogan's going to take a liking to me, but stranger things have happened. But so that's big news for me. Next, I hope I'm not saying anything out of school. I'm really excited about it. So we'll see.
You can say anything out of school. You're out of school. I'm out of school too. I mean, I got kicked out.
You did not. You did not. You did not.
I kicked myself out. Like, Seth, you're stupid. Get out of there. You're stupid. Stupid. Stupid Arkansan. Stupid.
All right.
Guys, that's the podcast. We can't get any dumber or smarter at the same time here. So let's wrap her up.
Give me a moment.
Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please check us out on if you're on Spotify, follow us, give us 5 stars. Really appreciate it. And I know the majority of you guys are watching us on Facebook, and we thank you for that. Please like our Facebook page, No Sugar, No Cream, and please share. That's what really helps us. If you would share this with your friends and get more people watching, that would be awesome.